The date is January 23rd, 2020, and I'm sitting on my friend Dave's couch, hanging out for a couple of days before I attend the Sundance Film Festival. We get to talking about video games, and then he stops me. He hands me a controller and says, "I have a game to show you." So he boots up Outer Wilds, and over the course of the next 24 hours, this game is all that I can think about. Cut to 2 weeks later, after the festival has ended, and I've come home and I've downloaded the game. I spend the next 2 months deep diving until I finally finish it. Now, a story like this isn't all that unusual for most gamers, but I'm not most gamers. I'm a casual gamer, meaning that I'm very selective and I take my time when it comes to the video games that I play. So what exactly was it that drew me into Outer Wilds so quickly? Well, the first thing that grabbed my attention was the setup. You start off waking up by a campfire. Then you learn that you are part of an alien species and that you are joining their space program. You obtain your launch codes, and then you're off to explore the galaxy. And after a little bit of exploring, this happens. So yeah, it's essentially Groundhog Day in space, except that it's much deeper than that. While the game never presents a conventional narrative to you at any point, there is a narrative. You just have to piece together the narrative from the clues that you will find. In fact, when it comes to engaging the player in Outer Wilds, exploring and discovery are pretty much the name of the game. I was quickly told by my friend Dave a few hours into my playing for the first time that there were no unlockable tools or power-ups in the entire game. Once you boot up the game and you obtain your launch codes, you already have everything that you're going to need to complete the game. This was probably the first hook that really made me want to sit down and pour a ton of hours into this game. I had never before played a game that took this approach to literally everything within it. Maybe it's because Outer Wilds was the first of its kind in that regard, or maybe there are tons of other games that have done this before and I'm just completely unaware of them. If that's the case, then please tell me about all of them in the comments section because I want to play them all. So anyways, I kept playing and began to uncover more and more secrets about the game's planets and its fragments of the narrative scattered within. I was hooked and I couldn't stop playing it. It came to be what I would spend most of my day looking forward to. Going home to explore that new section of the Hourglass Twins that I had discovered just before bed the night before. Or deep diving into a new planet in search for answers to a new narrative question that I had just found. Each time I found one of these new my writings, I would learn some new information that would suck me further into exploring these planets. But now that you've got a sense of how it feels to discover things in this game, I bet I just raised a whole bunch of more questions trying to do so. What the heck are new my writings? What are these planets in the game and how many are there? Now, I'm not going to dive into spoilers or answer those types of questions here. Instead, I'm just going to hype up the creativity of Outer Wilds' design. And to those watching this video who haven't played the game yet, trust me, the more that I leave for you to discover on your own, the more rewarding your gameplay experience is going to be. Now anyways, one of my favorite aspects of Outer Wilds' design is the spaceflight mechanics. One of the software engineers for this game is an actual aerospace engineer. That helped to create so many fascinating aspects of space within this game. As cartoony as the overall design and appearance of this game can be, the space flight mechanics are extremely accurate. I remember before I actually flew around in the spacecraft for the first time, I watched my buddy Dave do it, and just by watching him I thought, okay, this looks simple enough, how hard can it be? Then I actually took flight myself, and all of a sudden I felt like Ryan Stone from Gravity. There is so much science dedicated to the gravity in this game and how it affects each planet differently. Now, speaking of planets, each one is incredibly unique and offers new challenges and puzzles for you to dive into. The puzzles are captivating and rewarding, pushing you to explore even more. Am I saying explore too much? I feel like I might be, but I don't really know how else to describe it. Essentially, this game's design is really detailed, and it's impressive as spit to really sit down and just digest all of the effort that went into creating this game. In fact, the YouTube channel NoClip has an excellent documentary about the making of this game, and you should definitely go and check that out. Actually, I'll put a link in the description. Now, with that being said, if you haven't played the game before, you're only going to be able to watch about the first 10 minutes of the documentary before they start touching on spoilers. So on second thought, only watch that documentary if you've played the game. If you haven't played this game yet, then what are you waiting for? Go play the game first, then go watch the documentary. The last thing that I want to talk about is the score. Andrew Perlow composed what's easily in my top 5 favorite scores of all time. And when I say that, I mean any and all mediums, including film. If you know me, that's a huge deal. The music is so striking, and it fits the tone and world so well. I love this music so much. In fact, anytime that I'm out hiking at night or stargazing, this is always my go-to soundtrack. It morphs as you travel and stumbles upon different things whenever you're playing the game. Each planet has its own musical theme, and there are specific motifs that accompany specific locations, puzzles, and events. Whenever you discover something of great importance in relation to progress in the game, you're told so by a change in the score. It's funny that my last video on here was about subtlety, because all of the hints and foreshadowing within this game are incredibly subtle. You're only going to progress in this game if you explore and pay close attention to not only your findings, but also the game design, the score, and the structure as well. My final selling point of this game was the replayability factor. Now, once I actually beat Outer Wilds, I was shocked to find just how many endings there actually were. Again, I'm not gonna spoil anything for you, but this pushed me to continue playing. Every now and then, I'll hop on this game, and I'm still discovering new details, story fragments, and Easter eggs. Outer Wilds is incredibly unique in so many ways, but one of the coolest to me is the fact that pretty much every single person who plays it beats it with a list of completely different unaccomplished puzzles and goals and secrets from their friends. I can't tell you how many conversations that I've had with my buddy Dave, and I'm still having to this day about this game. We'll occasionally find an Easter egg or a hidden gem or another story fragment that's fascinating to us, and the first thing that we have to do is tell the other person. There really isn't any other game out there quite like Outer Wilds, unless again, there actually is, and I haven't heard of it. Again, put it in the comments section. Now, at the end of the day, there are tons of video games out there, each one catering to a different type of gamer. But what makes Outer Wilds so engaging to me is its unique structure and gaming style. I think that could be tied together with the attitude that the developers had when making this game. That's something that they heavily touch on in that NoClip documentary that I mentioned previously. When developing the game, they had to kind of throw the developmental rulebook out the window and get creative with the game's just basic core design. And most of the time, regardless of what medium that you're in, this is how monumental changes that forever shape said medium occur. So, of course, a game like this is going to draw attention to itself, but not as much attention as I would like to have seen. So whether you're a hardcore gamer, a casual gamer, or even if you haven't played a single video game in your life, check out Outer Wilds, explore around for a little bit, and you might be surprised how quickly it engages you. Hello everybody, and thank you so much for watching. I'm so excited to finally have this video finished. Outer Wilds has always been one of my favorite games of all time, and I've always wanted to make a video on it. I'm super excited to finally have it out. Sorry this one took a little bit, guys. I've been really busy this semester with school. Come to think of it, it seems like the spring semester is always the busiest for me. I've already worked on 2 short films. I'm super excited. One of them is going to be out very soon, and it ties into some things that's happening this summer that I am very excited about as far as film school is concerned. You'll find out a lot about that very soon. And then as far as my other short film, it's a personal project that me and a bunch of friends have been working really hard on. As soon as I can send more details out to you guys, I will definitely let you know. In the meantime, check out the links in the description below. I have lots of links to things that have been going on as far as my letterbox, which I'm constantly updating, as well as my friend's podcast that I've been on, the SuperImage Ltd podcast. Check out those links in the description below. Again, thank you guys so much for watching this video. We'll see you next time.